Welcome back to ARC Las Vegas. Got the whole team in place, and this final preparations underway for tonight's vice presidential debate. And the stakes face-off is between Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. The matchup could be the final debate before the election, just 34 days away.
You've got the two nominees here, Donald Trump and then our current president, Joe Biden, both speaking about what they expect to hear from the VP nominees. Obviously, it's not Biden's VP nominee. It's Kamala Harris's VP nominee here. But here's what they had to say ahead of the showdown.
Mr. President, any advice for Tim Walz on Tuesday? Did you offer him any personal advice?
No, he doesn't need it. I will. But we've been speaking a little bit back and forth. I think he's in good shape.
All right, hearing words from the president and former president right there. And to prepare for the debate, Governor Walz, he hunkered down in Harbor Springs, Michigan for what sources called a debate camp. And meanwhile, Senator Vance is said to have spent the last month engaged in intense prep sessions, both at his Cincinnati home and, of course, over Zoom.
All right, tonight's showdown could take on an outsized importance. You can watch it all over on our sister station, NBC Channel 3. Special coverage starting at 5 o'clock tonight. But both tickets, the Republicans and Democrats looking for that moment, that specific moment that's going to sway those undecided voters. As we bring in John Ralston, our friend of the show, he's the CEO and editor of the Nevada Independent, to talk more about what we can expect tonight. All right, John, you heard Joe Biden say he's got confidence in Tim Walz. You heard Donald Trump say that J.D. Vance is in good shape. We've seen the top of the ticket as well. Kamala Harris and her surrogates basically saying, hey, setting the stage for, this could go either way. They're trying to play. What's going on here, John? Why is everyone sort of downplaying this thing?
Well, people don't vote on vice presidential choices very much. So the real goal for both of these candidates tonight is to do no harm to the top of the ticket, to not do anything that moves what is really, as you guys all know, a very, very close race across the nation in the battleground states, including right here in Nevada, where the polls show it to be a dead heat. So both of these candidates will be looking for their, don't take this personally, guys, TV moment that can be played over and over again to help their candidate. They don't want a TV moment that can be played over and over again to hurt their candidate.
Maybe the make or break moment there. John, I feel like every time I turn on the TV or, are just watching for a political update, it's like, oh, we've seen everything, but then we haven't. There's always something new that pops up that, gets the wheels turning again. What do you think we're going to see in this matchup?
Well, when people prepare for these kinds of debates at any level, they're prepared with one-liners to try to either emphasize themselves or to set the other candidate off. And so that's what they'll be looking for tonight. Again, Tim Walz and J.D. Vance have done nothing really to help the top of the ticket. It could be argued that Vance has done more to hurt the ticket with all of these old clips of him saying stuff about childless cat ladies, and then him admitting that he actually fabricated the story about Haitians eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, while Walz has had some questions raised about how he has described his military service. So that kind of stuff will come up tonight, but whether it's brought up in a way that changes the dynamic of the race, I think is very unlikely.
John, when it comes to Nevada, we're such an important state along with others such as Pennsylvania. What are the main topics you believe Nevadans really would love to hear about tonight, speaking in depth from both candidates?
It's interesting. When I'm asked that question about how Nevadans feel by national reporters all the time, they kind of think we're aliens out here. Like people in Nevada don't have the same wants and needs and concerns that everybody else in the country does. All the polling shows that what people are most concerned about here are the economy, and as part of that, and you guys know about this, the housing crisis that's here, the bubble that may be building up again. And so there'll be, people vote their pocketbooks more than anything else. And that's why this race is so close, because people are uncertain. Nevada was disproportionately crushed, as you know, by COVID. So we haven't come back quite as quickly, although we've come back a lot. And so people are going to want to hear about that. My guess is you'll hear this phrase tonight: no taxes on tips, which came from a waitress in Nevada to Trump. Then Harris jumped all over it. And so they think that that's a big issue here in Nevada. I'm not so sure they're right, but I bet it comes up.
John, you're the moderator expert here. It goes without saying, you did our mayoral debate just last week. CBS has explicitly said, they're the ones hosting this debate, they've explicitly said they won't fact check the VP nominees in real time. Are you surprised by the format there? What do you make of it?
Well, I wrote a column about this. It's on the Nevada Independent site this morning. That's insane. You know, our job as journalists is not to just sit there like potted plants and keep time and ask questions and do nothing else. If there are blatant falsehoods that are said by these candidates, it's the job of the moderators to call that out. Now, they want to mostly let the candidates debate, to talk to each other, to debate issues. But if something is said that's not factual, one of the moderators has to jump in and say, hey, wait a second, that's not true, and present those facts. It's not easy to do. I'm making it sound easy. As you know, and you saw it in the mayoral debate, I had to do it a few times, but it can be uncomfortable. But that's our job. We are here to illuminate the differences between these candidates. We can't let them just present their side of the story, especially if it's not true.
No muted mics, though, tonight, John? No muted mics when the other candidate's talking? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that whole muted mics thing it was ridiculous as well. These are adults. We're not trying to stop our children from talking.
Yeah, despite what we see on TV with the political fireworks, you're right. They are grown adults here. He's John Ralston. He's the CEO and editor of the Nevada Independent. The NevadaIndependent.com is where you can see more of his musings. John, thanks so much for being with us. Really, really appreciate it.